You also must have a disclaimer when talking to your patients who are coming with such problems, is that don't say that it's only related to your work. Yes, it may be related to work, but remember, after the 7 or 8 hours they put in at the office, there's a whole lot of 17 hours that they spend at home, where they are surfing the net, watching movies, trading on the stock exchange, वो सब करते हैं. So they are all doing things, and work from home. This is another very important thing. When you work from home, which is a new trend, a lot of people just work on a dining table, on the bed. So all these things, you must insist that the strain that is encountered and in any work on the computer, it doesn't matter whether you're at home or in the office, but you got to have a good workstation. So back pain is multifactorial, you're aware of that, so is neck pain. But improper sitting can lead to back pain. Again, conversely, when a patient comes to us, the tendency is to diagnose. So let us rule out a pot spine. Let us rule out ankylosing spondylitis. Let us look out for spondylolisthetic pattern. See, all these things we know because we have studied it. But the commonest thing is the muscles that go into spasm. I don't need to go too much into the anatomy and all that because of the audience. Basically, these curves, the spinal curves, the cervical, thoracic and the lumbar curves are supported by muscles. And these muscles, paraspinous muscles, go into spasm whenever there is an abnormal strain on the... of course, there are cases where there is damage to the vertebra. Of course, there are tumors. Of course, there is multiple myeloma. There are other causes, obviously. But the predominant, at least let's put it this way, let's prevent posture-related back pain first. Take a walk down all these shop floors in many industries. If you have a chance, you will find your client sitting in the most abnormal posture, especially if he has two computers, one on this, where will he focus? One, you can see his screens are at different levels. He is asymmetric in his posture, there is truncal rotation. His shoulder is somewhat abducted and also hand is not rested on the armrest. These are all, he is not aware, he is glued to his screen. So shoulder pain, then the dorsiflexion of the wrist causing pain in the wrist. All these things have to be corrected. A lot of sites are there which will show good posture. I will show you one also. But the point is that sitting and bending, for example, has a tremendous impact on the discal pressures. I think lunch is getting to me. Please see that I don't go off to sleep. So, see, this is an intradiscal pressures measured, and at various levels when you stoop or sit and stoop and pick up something in the floor, it's in fact even worse than standing and lifting. So what we look at in a workstation are these various parameters. The height of the eye and vis-a-vis the monitor height, the thigh height, the thigh to the floor, the angles, various angles, the angle that the thigh makes to the rest of the body, the hip joint at least, and then the angle that the knee makes with the thigh. All these angles and anthropometric measurements are made in order prior to fixing the person to a workstation. Now that is an ideal scenario. Most of the workstations cater to the 95th percentile of people, and you should have various parts of the chair and workstation that are you can adjust. There are of course modifiable factors for pain, and one of them is obesity. In fact, they say that the person who is most who is prone to back pain is a tall, obese female. So these are the people who are more, this is hypothetically, because each one is a factor that can contribute to back pain. Pregnancy. You might have seen many gravid females walking. They walk with their hands behind them because the weight up front causes a huge amount of traction on the lower back, and they have to support the lower back. In fact, it's mandatory for you to prescribe good abdominal exercises pre and post-natally so that they recover a good back health. Obesity. Today, with the continuous sitting, junk food, people are only developing Uttar Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is growing. One chap came to me, "Sir, I have got knee pain." He was quite obese. I asked him, "Where is it paining in your knee?" "मुझे दिख नहीं रहा सर, आप ही देख लीजिए." He was not able to see his knees. The point is, the abdominal muscles also play a major role in prevention of back pain. Ergonomists across the world have studied, and it's mostly related to heights. Is your monitor at the right height? Is your mouse and keyboard at the right height? Do you rest your arm on a hard surface while working? Is your keyboard too high? Again, given the right workstation, are you adopting the right posture? There is a slumping posture, there is a slouching posture. Gravity takes over. Na? After 1 or 2 hours, you can actually measure it, The person, when he comes, he sits properly at work. After 2 hours, slowly he comes forward. After 3 hours, 4 hours, I went to an office, inside the cabin, one manager was sitting. He was lying down on his chair. His legs were on the table, but he was working. He had a nice big workstation. Again, I gave him my card. So, your posture at work is important. Protracted shoulders, slumping, lack of appropriate breaks. Generally, they say 5 minutes every hour is the break when you should do your break exercises. So I told this to one audience, and next time I visited them, so I was told one guy left this 45 minutes earlier. अरे वो कैसा? आपने बोला ना 5-minute break every hour. I accumulated those breaks and went 45 minutes earlier. ऐसा नहीं. You got to do your break exercises. Tell your patients. Don't worry about all those numbers there. They are only when you are going to evaluate a chair. Suppose you have to, some company calls you to evaluate a chair, then you do the measurements. Otherwise, I'll just give you the take-home low-hanging fruit. Here, basically, your lumbar curve must be supported. Lumbar curve must be supported either by the contour of the chair, or don't wait for back buddy, all those things. Tell them to bring one thin pillow from home, keep it there. So, because every company may not provide, so the lower back must be supported. Lock the backrest, because the backrest being locked is a good sitting position for working. You cannot recline your backrest, go to 140. That will push you forward. There will be the pelvis will talk to the knee will talk to the ankle, your foot will not be supported. All of these will contribute to spasm of your lower back. So, of course, some chairs have adjustable lower back. Again, this is just to show that we come in different sizes, right? Some of the people, when they sit, their thighs will hit the under surface of the bench. When you look at them, you'll have to look at them, and they'll be 6'4". So when they sit, their thighs will hit the underside of the workbench. There are some people who, when they sit, their feet don't touch the ground. Okay, so variation in anthropometric, but generally, as I told you, we all fall in some bell curve, no? So in that bell curve, we all fit in somehow. But within that, we should know what are the controls that we should use. So I've told you about the backrest. A backrest can have, it can go back, but it is a backrest. It should be used only when you are resting. When you're working, you got to lock it in the neutral position. That's about 90 to 110 degrees. And then you rest your foot on the ground. This is essentially because of your pelvic tilt. The pelvic tilt, if you do not rest your foot on the ground or on a footrest, the pelvic tilt will aggravate the backache. Again, for tall people, you might have to consider a slightly raised workstation, because their knees will, the upper surface of the thigh will hit against the workstation. Again, all of these seat heights must be adjusted so that your forearms are parallel to the floor. These are all available in every website. You can go and see that. But basic principle is that your forearms must be parallel. There should be no dorsiflexion on the wrist. It should be more or less this thing. And one interesting thing is this keyboards that they use. The keyboards, if they use the right side, which is numeric, then only you center them to the keyboard. But if it is alpha-numeric and they don't use the numeric part, then you have to move the keyboard to the right and center yourself to the using part. Because again, imagine I type for 8, 9, 10 hours with my wrist like this. You know what can happen. EPL, APB, you will get tendinitis here. Seat depth. Again, there must be a gap between the back of your knee and the seat waterfall design. Waterfall design means basically it should be curved, not hard. And should not compress the knee, obviously. Armrest is, again, you tell your patient to sit erect, keep his shoulders very relaxed, see that the arms and the forearm is parallel to the ground, and that should be the right height of the armrest. Most chairs have 3 to 4 adjustable armrests, so you raise it or lower it based on the patient. This is what I already said. Unless your feet are rested, there will be a pelvic tilt which will aggravate the lumbar curve. This is something that I observed. I have gone through so many companies across India, software companies, is that they keep the keyboard below and the mouse there. And so that becomes one extra repetitive movement that is unnecessary. So ideal is to have a keyboard tray. If you are not very tall, then you have a keyboard tray, place the keyboard tray on that at the recommended height and have the mouse adjacent to it. If you are a right-hander, on the right side. Just position the keyboard so that you are centered to it or the B key. See that your wrist is not ulnar or radially deviated. Monitor. So again, all of this has to be combined holistically. You can't just adjust the chair, then go to then find that the monitor is below. You understand? So simultaneously you have to look at the monitor. Generally, those days when I started my practice or my consultancy, they were using desktops, big ones. Today, then in fact one of my patients said, "Sir, I got promoted." This was about 10 years ago. "Sir, I got a promotion." I said, "Congratulations. Now I got a laptop." To me, a laptop as an ergonomist is not a promotion. Because a laptop, whatever you try, can never be very ergonomic. Because you adjust the monitor height, the keyboard is there. You adjust the keyboard, you have to look down. Your neck is always in flexion. So you get reversal of the cervical lordosis. So, whatever, again, if you are able, you can explain this to your patient. If they allow you, you can visit the company and see how he is working. But basically, these are the parameters. See that your patient is centered to the monitor. If there are 2 monitors, place them at 45 degrees, center yourself to that. Use a laptop stand. That will also come later. What is the distance of the monitor? 1 arm's distance. That is about 18. Some books give 18 and 30. Some books give 18 and 24. Doesn't matter. You don't need an inch tape or a protractor. Okay. Basically, you know that your wrist is in neutral. Your elbows are at 90 degrees. That's all. We are only giving the guidelines. Even we encourage our people to shift their positions once in a while. Not a problem. We are not robots. Dr. Somnath, we are not robots. So we have to keep moving our body. So we have to give that leeway for them. One important thing is again the distance. Earlier we used to read, that used to be reading distance. And then we used to look far away, that used to be the distance. Okay, far distance. Now there is an intermediate. So a lot of people are solving that by using progressive lenses or intermediate reading glasses. Because your computer is 18 to 30 inches away from you, 1 arm's distance. So you got to read it. Too often the font is so small that you have to look forward. Again, neck flexion. Keep at the top of the computer screen, act as slightly below eye level. If you are using a lot of documents, use a document holder. See that your laptop is not upturned to catch the glare. I've already talked to you about the keyboard tray. Essentially, it's a detachable thing that it moves from under the table so that when you are sitting erect, you don't have to reach out to the table. When you bring the keyboard tray, your mouse is on your right, your arms your shoulder are relaxed, and your forearm is parallel to the ground. So you avoid a lot of arm extension. Now, when you go to a company, that also may happen. Your patient may say, you've done miracles on me, so why don't you visit my company? So when you go there, what you do is you must look for simple things. Don't say change the whole workstation, that's not possible. You say, can we give accessories? There are many accessories. There are accessories that, like a document holder, so that you don't have to flex and extend your neck all the time. You can keep it at the same level as your monitor. What is most essential for laptops is use a laptop stand with an external keyboard and an external wireless mouse or a docking station. See that sometimes the chair may not have an armrest. See that they will have a detachable arm. These are all accessories that you can get from the market. And for wrist, you need to rest it on something soft. Wrist pads, mouse pads, very useful. So these are the benefits of using these accessories. The workstation need not be touched. This minor tweaking is enough. You can use a height adjustable laptop stand. You can use these external keyboard and the mouse. You can have an inclined footrest for those whose feet do not rest on the ground. Mouse pad and document holder I already told you, and about the glasses. So these are some do's and don'ts. I am not going to read it. Just have a look. So when you tell your patients, these are how you must be. Use a light touch. A lot of people I have seen that enter button, poor thing. If it doesn't open in your first try, keep on hitting. Because when you are 20th time it will open. What is it? I don't understand that logic. First time it doesn't open, 20th time it won't open. You are only trying to hit it unnecessarily. Allow your hands to float on the keyboard. That's another key thing. You have to float on the keyboard and rest your arms on the armrest when not working. And don't slouch. I've already told you how you must sit on the chair. It may be called a mouse. It won't run away. Don't hold your mouse so tight. Okay. I've seen people gripping it so tightly. Not me. Again, keyboards you don't have to use. Somebody did a study, German. He said use 9 times more pressure on the keyboards and the mouse than is required. Don't pound the keys. Control Alt Delete, Control Alt Delete. Not Control Alt Delete. You got 2 fingers, you got 2 hands. So everybody, I say this in all my lectures to the users, they laugh just as you did and go back to doing the same thing. So this is the basic guidelines. See that your head is not flexed or extended, it's neutral. You are centered to the monitor. Monitor at approximately eye height, it should not be above, it's generally below. 5 degrees, 10 degrees subtended. Shoulders relaxed, arms at the side. Forearms parallel to the ground, wrist parallel, wrist in neutral, arms rested when not working, lower back fully supported, and feet on the footrest or on the floor. Document holder where needed. Lot of places, lot of workstations. Phone, important documents there. Family photo here. I say your family very close. Photo can be there. If you use all these things more often, pencil, pen, all those things, if you use them, keep them closer. Family photo, if a family being close, you can keep the photo far away. Anyway, like this, so many things, you just have to look at it afresh. One of the things that you must note in many offices is when you come that next day, you'll find your chair is not there. They come, there's a lady who wrote her name. This is my chair. And put her name and signature. In case you take it, anyway. So the point is, there's a term for this, it's called chair hijacking. Because a lot of people work in the same office, but you have adjusted it to your height. So in fact, you should tell your patient, when you go to the office, check whether chair is yours. Now we come to the next part of, how much time do I have?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay, fine. I started at 2:10, I thought. Yes. So, now we come to another part, that is the rapid upper limb assessment. Now, when you do an assessment in a company, this is a little advanced, basic ergonomics, but you might be interested in knowing more about it. Essentially, you need to tell the manufacturers or the office managers that this equipment is not okay, or this workstation is not okay for your patient. And you will say, how do you say that? So there are ways by which you can assess and give marks, give a number to it. So there are many types of what we call as tools: rapid upper limb assessment, rapid entire body assessment, then OWA, SNOOC, RAP, RAPP, that is of push and pull activities, then ART for repetitive, and there are many tables. But RULA is the one for office. Ergonomics is very well adopted. You assign a score for the body regions. There is no need for special equipment, and you don't need to be an ergonomist. You can just follow the instructions there, and you can assess only one side at a time. It's either right or left, and does not assess the finger movements. It does not provide the entire work activity throughout. It assesses only posture. It does not specifically address office environments. It addresses the anybody who is sitting at work. So I went to Dell. In Dell they were sitting and assembling parts on their laptop, they were manufacturing. So that's the RULA. So this is how a RULA sheet looks. And first you have the arm and wrist analysis. There are scores. Like how am I placing my shoulder? Is it flexed? Is it extended? All those things. And then the lower arm position, wrist position, twisting of the wrist. Then is there any muscle use? Is it very severe? A little bit subjective, but at least you can give a score to it. Then force that is used, and at the end of it you give a number. There is a score that you can see on the right. And then also the neck, trunk and leg are analyzed, and here you see the neck position, whether it's flexed, extended, trunk position flexed, extended while sitting. Okay, RULA focuses on activities where the upper limb is active more, because the trunk and legs are also involved in this. So you need to decide whether to use the rapid entire body or the rapid upper limb. Generally, for our office we use the RULA only. There's more upper limb activity. But of course, legs also, there is a scoring for the legs, and then muscle use score, force load, and then you arrive at the final score. I'm not going through the details because it involves marking. That can be done in a workshop. And then this is the important thing. They are given McAtamney and Scott. They are the people who have invented this table. They give a number. So if you tell the industry that, or even the employee at work, 5 to 6 is you are at medium risk, or above 6 you are at high risk. So you give the risk and reduce it. This has been recently from Canada, Mr. Son. He has given another table called the ROSA. Basically, this is also diagram based, so easy to access. And many of these are validated. The scores are validated with the musculoskeletal symptoms evaluated. You can evaluate in different ways. There is one questionnaire that is used to use it for, it's called the Carnatic questionnaire. And that questionnaire we use for evaluation of the these symptoms. And of course we know the visual analog scale for the intensity of the pain. So this is how it is scored. You can see here that one section deals with the armrest, the back, essentially the chair. The armrest, back support, seat pan height, the seat pan depth is part of the chair. The second part, again each of these has a score. But again that will be given in the addenda, in the annexure. That for each score this is what is said. Then section B deals with the monitor, external things. That is the monitor and the phone. So this ROSA is a more practical application, whereas RULA is more a postural association. But Dr. Swan has given this, and it's around for some time and it's validated. Section C is the keyboard and mouse, where the actual interface between the workstation and the person. So far it's only external, but here the interface with the person is going to use the keyboard and the mouse. So this is the figure, again very easy to use. but you need some training. First time you might find it difficult, and then you arrive at the scores. Again, there are ways by which you arrive at the score, which is a risk score. So I will show you a case where we saw. For all of you who can see, this is an actual case scenario where the person was sitting and we just captured him working. वैसे बैठा था, वो देख रहा था, look at his laptop. His laptop is looking upstairs, and his hands are on the board. He is doing, if you can say, whatever we can do wrong, he is doing it wrong in his posture. Even you will understand. And so we gave him some advice. We gave him some accessories. We put his laptop on a laptop stand. We gave him a keyboard and told him how to use it at the right height. We raised his chair height, seat and height. We raised it, and then we told him sit well into your chair, sit as erect as possible. Even then, it didn't come up to his eyes, but that's okay. At least we brought the score down from 6 to 2, and we were able to demonstrate to him as well as to the employer that yes, with the same workstation with just one laptop stand and something, we are able to bring down the risk score. Now I'll just briefly take you through some of the points that Dr. Somnath has already told you about. This newer forms of, I'm only going to evaluation. He spoke on many other things related to technology, digitalization and so on. I'm only taking you through some of the things that we use for today, for evaluation. So obviously those of you, last year was GATE, I think, right? So you know how people have assessed, you can assess in so many ways, GATE analysis, right? Using motion sensors, you can use stroboscopic lights, you can use cameras positioned in different positions. All those things are there for GATE analysis. Similarly, there are ways by which you can assess ergonomic risk using technology. So first is biofeedback. Biofeedback has been around for the last 50 years, but the equipment was so big, you couldn't really carry it to a factory and use it. So now we have started using biofeedback to look at muscle activity during work. All these things are in the future, they are going to make a difference. I can say that because a lot of companies are moving to India for manufacturing, and they want the same employee practices to be practiced here. Also, the government is becoming more and more proactive. DISH, this Directorate of Inspector of Safety and Health, they want evaluation. So we have technical ways by which evaluate this risk. So postural biofeedback, especially when it comes to compensation. We was talking about compensation today. If it comes into compensation, everybody will start doing ergonomic evaluation. So activities of the paraspinous muscles. A biofeedback equipment basically is a detector. You've got the electrodes that goes, the signals are taken from muscle to the processor, and from the processor to the display. Yeah, you can see there is a graph there. Can you see the ball? Yeah. Now the ball goes below the line. I'll play it again for you. So you fix these are the electrodes that are fit to the lower back, the muscles. Now imagine this person who is fit with the electrodes transmit the signal to the device, and he can actually visualize his muscles going into spasm or at least contracting. So you can see the baseline there. The ball goes up and down. In fact, there is it's not visual but also auditory, there is a bell. He straightens himself, then he starts stooping again, and when he stoops, it goes below the line, and then he corrects himself. So this is self-correct. Were you able to see it?
Yes.
When it goes below the line, he auto-corrects. Another is this motion sensors. So the person uses he has he is working on a tool, and the motion sensor tied to his wrist analyzes the extent of shoulder flexion, the ROM, everything is recorded in a graph. We've been talking about AI. In fact, nobody, any conversation today that starts is either artificial intelligence or Trump. So we'll talk about the artificial intelligence only. So AI now is here to stay. But what we apply it for is in our hands. It should not replace our higher centers. So here, for example, you all will be teaching exercises. Look at this tool for teaching exercises. You can actually remotely monitor if the person has I'll show it again. So you will be able to find out remotely, has my shoulder abducted above 90? Suppose the patient comes and has a capsulitis. So on. This is something we did for optometrists. Shankar asked us to do an evaluation of the ergonomic risk of optometrists. So we used AI on this person and found that the RULA score was pretty high, because again, this was also partly given by the AI, but we cross-checked it with our ergonomists. And last but not the least, and which I will not do too much about, because we are near the people who deal a lot with exercises. But it's important what exercises you prescribe. Exercises, I believe, have to be prescribed, and you need to know what exercises to prescribe. So what are the different types of exercises? Somebody awake? Yeah, what are the different types of exercises?
Flexibility, aerobic.
Sorry? Aerobic?
Aerobic.
Yes? Excellent. Aerobic, strengthening, flexibility, endurance. Okay, good. Fine. Coordination, exercises for balance. All those things are there. But since it's the audience of physiotherapists, so I don't need to elaborate on that. Essentially, exercises are a regime as a patient. He is coming to prevent. Yeah. Postural muscles, yes, because you know a lot. But what type of exercise? Will you do strengthening exercise? Okay. So you have to prescribe these strengthening exercises. Somebody told somebody, do strengthening exercise. One patient came to me, severe back pain. So I asked him, okay, what did you do? No, I was told by my doctor to do strengthening exercises. So I went to the gym. And then I asked him, how much of weight did you lift? So I lifted 80 kilos, sir. After that I developed back pain. I said, why did you go slow? Why did you want to lift 80 kilos? Sir, next month I am getting married. So you can't develop all those muscles in 1 month. Okay. So strengthening muscles, carefully prescribed. What is that other? Aerobics, of course, is their wish. You want to go hiking, jogging, running, swimming, whatever. It's up to them. Third is flexibility. Almost every animal you see first stretches itself. Flexibility is very important for this. And we got to prescribe those exercises. We give what are called break exercises. Remember, as the aging population, flexibility comes down. We've seen a child, takes its own toe and puts it into its own mouth. Can you do it? Don't try. Thank you. That's Dr. Somnath, by the way. Yeah.